Live? Yep. Okay. I won't wait any longer because I'll probably need to pee again before this is over with. So, geez, stopping shows for peas, that's terrible. But thank you all so much for. All the more obvious that and oh, what are we pursuing about there? Oh, oh, it's Marty, Mr. Marty Jannetty, the real star of the show. Yeah, he clawed Shawn Michaels' eyes would have been his 103rd birthday. How we doing on the sound there? It's fucking up. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna really legit start the show with my bits. And back in May, I moderated a panel on disability activism, and I was particularly struck by the fact that a severely visually impaired man was the best dressed of all. Yeah. If a man who can't see looks like the president, and me who can see looks like a hobo, I have got to do a much better job. Like, I got a lot of stains on my clothes, right? But I can see the fucking stains on my clothes, right? So I gotta make at least enough of an effort to make sure that my stain is the same color as my shirt, so I'm the only fucking person that can see it. I gotta be more professional, that's all I'm saying. If this doesn't work out, it'll be good for the 5 people here. How we doing over there? Good, we're doing good? Okay. So, so before I get accused of disability appropriation, I'll move to mine. I can't be like, oh, I'll speak for everyone who's had a bad day. I really hope I didn't knock the mic off there with my gesticulating. Uh, I, oh, thank you, Abe. You're looking fantastic. You're trying to upstage that blind presidential guy, aren't you? The Yankees hat and 18 Budweisers, and he's good to go. Um, so I used to be oh, we're fixing the mic here, and this is a perfect time for this because in my days as a disabled man, I have outrun many able-bodied people, right? And I used to say, if I can outrun you, then you had better get in better shape. But now I've been thinking about this more and more, right? And if a guy who can't stand without holding on to anything can outrun you on his broken crutches, fuck getting in better shape. You should see a doctor. You might be clinically dead. Fuck me, man. Speaking of running around, y'all remember PAL class in grade 11? The older folks proud might not, but PAL was a glorified gym class in grade 11. It stood for physically active lifestyles. And I did the same amount of laps around the gym as everybody else. Nah, man, I didn't outrun all them kids, just the real sick ones. And my buddy in an electric wheelchair, Thomas, man, his wheelchair shorted out, so I lapped him like 7 times. And that's not the thing that pissed me off about PAL, right? Because I didn't mind doing them laps. But the thing is I made pretty good marks at school, right? And I was doing the laps like, I went to school with a walker loaded down with books. In my condition, doing the same amount of laps as everybody else, They give me a 70, man. In my condition, doing the same amount of laps as everybody else, fuck 70. They should have given me a 700. Fuck, man. Josh ran around the gym 54 times a day. He don't have to go to class for a month. Man, I would have fucking broke a bone to miss class for a month back in them days. Fuck it, man. Fuck. I would have never stopped running. I hated school, man. Fuck that. I'll just keep running forever and never go to class again. Fuck that shit. Fuck you, pal. I had like 25 years to stew about this, so they should have given me a better mark, those assholes. Um, yeah, speaking of assholes, I guess I learned this the hard way. Never look at your reflection in a spoon if you're high. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Do I really look like that? No, you don't. But if you keep getting so intoxicated that you're actually wondering, pretty soon your reflection in the spoon is going to look a whole lot better than it does in the mirror. Make better life decisions, folks. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that shit. Speaking of drinking, you guys remember a couple weeks ago, they had that boil order on, right? The water treatment plant had power outage and we couldn't drink our water. But what most people might not know is they actually had a recommendation for if you couldn't boil your water and you had to drink your tap water, right? You know what they said? They suggested that people put a couple of drops of bleach in that water. This is true. It really is. No, and laugh because it's funny, but it's true, right? And like, I thought to myself, how bad could our fucking water be that bleach makes it healthier? You kidding me, man? Like, if I'm a parent and I have a kid and like options to drink at home are tequila and fucking water with some bleach in it, my kid's getting hammered, man. Probably a good thing I don't have no kids. I don't know, man. I guess. Fuck. But I'm going to try this one. I put this right in the middle because I don't know if it'll work. And it might be funny, it might just be clever, and it might be neither. And I should really get to the point because it's only a fucking one-liner, and I've done like 6 lines already setting it up. Get to the point, asshole. Okay. If I were to criticize someone for using the word empathetic, that wouldn't be very empathic of me now, would it? No, apparently wasn't very empathic of you folks either. Wasn't very empathic. I knew that wasn't going to work, but I had to fucking try. Good thing it was only a one-liner, eh? Speaking of empathic, I'm doing a little better now, but I've been through some tough times, man, some poverty, you know, stuff like that. I mentioned stains on my clothes earlier. At one point, I had so many damn holes in my clothes that my biggest pair of pants became my tiniest thong. Geez, I should have been a dancer, man, let me tell you. You imagine that? Make enough money at it? I make enough money I could stop taking bad clothes off and start putting good clothes on. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe I could have cornered like some weird fetish market, right? Be the stripper who's paid to put more clothes on or something, started off in bikini and work out to a snowsuit. Yeah, you in that fetish market? I'm gonna make my millions by getting dressed. Ooh, baby, that one-piece snowsuit. I'll put galoshes up to my fucking nipples, buddy, just for you. Yeah, wading in the snow, find a true love, dressed in 7 layers so you don't get hypothermia. Fuck. I was just jiving about that dancer stuff, you know, but I always really wanted to be a singer, right? And I sing beautifully in the shower. Yeah. Man, if only I had better hygiene, I could have been a professional. For now, it's just figa pew, figa pew, figa pew, figa pew. Yeah, I'm glad you're laughing at my malodorous. People who know me know I'm a big fan of The Price is Right. And Bob Barker in particular, not Drew Carey. He's a fucking charisma vacuum. Should have never been allowed on TV, fucking asshole. But anyway, one of the things that struck me about the prize, and I was very struck, it's not a joke gift. A more common prize than you would think was a hot dog cart. Can you imagine that? A hot dog, like how, like I could see it being fun for the kids, right? But how many kids is going around saying, "Mommy, mommy, I want to be a hot dog vendor when I grow up," right? And you know, there's probably fucking two or three just to make an asshole of me for saying it, right? But you know, like I don't think that's something that anybody really aspires to, right? And like as far as I know, that cart don't come with no hot dogs. So really, all you've won is the chance to push around a really fancy, empty cart. Imagine a poor contestant on The Price is Right, so deflated. Oh man, I just won on The Price is Right, man. Why do I feel like I'm homeless? Yeah, give me a fucking hot dog cart and The Price is Right. Y'all need to give me something I could use, man. Something I could really use, you know, like an evening gown. Yeah, man. Look, forget about finding love. Just give me an evening gown and a real flattering mirror, and I'm all I'll ever need. Ain't that right, Jocelyn? Oh, yes, it is. I got to work on my femininity. I wasn't sure if I was going to put that tag in, but I did. Jocelyn's the closest to my name, so I gave it a try. Yes, we'll probably give up on that soon. What's the greatest indicator that your life is going poorly? Don't know? Okay, that gives me time to tell you. For me, I think the greatest indicator that your life is going poorly is if all of your condoms have expired. All of my condoms expired several times. Things must not be going too good, you know? But in other ways, it works out for the sake of comedy purposes. Fucking hilarious. Thanks, guys. I thought you'd enjoy that one. Um, I got a bit of a rant joke coming up, so I'm going to take a drink of water for this here. We're almost done the stand up though. We're getting there.
How does a condom expire several times? Does it have like different dates where like you're doing this poorly
Um,
or just moderately
no,
poorly?
no. The one condom or one batch of condoms would expire several times, but you see, you would get new condoms because those expired, and then those would turn around and
Oh,
expire.
I
So
see.
it's the
I thought it was the same batch with different dates.
no, no, different batches with different dates and a whole lot of not getting lucky.
You can keep them for party food.
That's right, blow 'em up, fun for the kids. Here's some beach whistles, kids. Go party.
Water fights.
Water fights, yeah. There ain't nothing good in them, so go fuck them up with water. Yeah, I wanted to. This is the penultimate bit, and it's a bit long, bit of a rant. A lot of this set is about childhood and growing up, and I was a big fan of that Robert Munch classic, "Love You," right? And just feeling nostalgic, waxing nostalgic. I looked it up on Wikipedia the other day, and I was very surprised to find out that about 7 years ago, "Love You Forever" got semi-canceled, and it got semi-canceled because it was accused of advocating helicopter parenting. I'm just briefly going to explain the book for those who might not be familiar. "Love You Forever" chronicles the love and relationship between a mother and her son, pretty much from his birth till her death, right? And every night she rocks him in his sleep, singing "Love you forever, my baby you'll be." Man, ain't that sweet? Yeah, like I don't even talk to my kids. I'm just kidding. Kids don't talk to me. I guess you was all paying attention earlier when I said I didn't have kids. I don't have any kids, but I use them for a comedic device whenever I can. You know, they're imaginary hilarity to me. It can't by children.
Imaginary children canceled.
Yeah, canceled by my imaginary best friend. Everybody turns on you one way or another. I don't fucking know, man. Jesus. And this was a perfect segue because the controversy stems from the fact that in a later scene in the book, um, when the kid is an adult, mom still once in a while lets herself in his house, right? Still rocks him to sleep, singing "Love You Forever." My baby, you'll be, when he's an adult, right? And so I thought about this, right? And I'm thinking, like, the only kind of moron and idiot who wouldn't understand that that's just Robert Munch using an exaggerated example, metaphor, to prove the point. The only kind of idiot that would actually think that was helicopter parenting would be a helicopter parent. You imagine that? Oh, my son is not allowed to watch a PG-13 movie till he's at least 16. My son has anxiety, so he only goes to school twice a week because the school is too loud. And I'd homeschool him, but I have ADHD and I can't do the same thing for more than 4 minutes. And 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 my son is not allowed to read the dictionary because there's some real bad words in there. And hard C's make him cry. Oh my God, I shouldn't have said cry. He's over there in the corner bawling right now. And most of all, my son shouldn't ever read that horrible Robert Munch book where a mother rocks her adult son in his sleep. For shame, for shame. What a fucking idiot, eh? Like, you ever, and like, it's so nitpicky, right? And there's like a scene. Oh yeah, I know what what these assholes, right? This helicopter parents don't know how to love you, so can't let you breathe. And like there's a scene later in the book. These nitpicking fuckers, like I can't believe they haven't picked up on this yet. The mom is elderly and she's too sick and stuff, so he finally turns the tables before she dies, goes in the old folks home, whatever, rocks her in her sleep. Love you forever, my mommy, you'll be. And I wonder, like, why aren't old people up in arms like, oh, that advocates elder abuse. He could have broke her hip. I'll tell you why old people aren't up in arms about that shit. Because old people, for all their foibles and supposedly outdated points of view, are old enough to understand metaphor and exaggerated example, artistic license, those kind of things. Old people would have been smart enough to realize I was using kids as just a comedic device. I had the helicopter parenting, let me tell you, because old people was too worried about getting bombed by actual fucking helicopters. Fuck, man. And I hate to be the one to break it to the world, but Hitler posed a way bigger threat to peace and security for all of us than hyperactivity you could ever hope to do. Ridiculous, ridiculous. And you know what? I don't think we should hover kids over like that, man, plan every move. Like, they got to be free to move and make mistakes and hurt stuff so they can become adjusted adults, right? Be quiet, dog. And, like, take me, for instance, right? I went to disability daycare in the 80s, right? 4 years old, I was going to go down the slide, and I fell down the other end. Yeah, I got beat up, hurt pretty bad, right? Um, and, uh, and ever since then, I've been able to smell how people feel. Uh, most most people smell terrible, by the way. But I turned out fine, man. I turned out fine, you know. And when I was 9, my mother regularly encouraged me to watch fashion television because it showed women's bare breasts, and he thought this would cultivate an interest in women. And it did. It did. But I learned the hard way that just because women show you their breasts on TV doesn't mean they're going to do it in the course of everyday life. I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Sullivan. I spent most of grade 4 in detention, man, but fuck long division, I learned a valuable life lesson. Yes, I did. And I also learned, going on my little buddy Daniel's paper route with him, I learned that certain cigar filters in the ashtray taste better than grape bubble gum. Yeah, that garbage makes you sick is a great lesson to learn firsthand. Thank God I don't identify as a raccoon. Look, all I'm saying is if you have the freedom to go catch an infectious mouth disease, you ain't gonna do it again. I tell you, raise the right way. Bring back falling down the other end of the slide. Toughen up these wussy kids, I guess. Oh, canceled again. Um, I got one bit to. I would have put this originally with the pal stuff because it was more related to school, but I think this is the funniest thing I have tonight. We'll find out, I guess. Might be the worst. But growing up as a disabled kid in school, really struck me. My only bullies were kids in the special ed classes. You imagine? And like I was able to deal with this pretty well, like really well adjusted to it because I was able to rationalize it so well. And I thought to myself, right, like how can I get mad at my bully if I don't even know my bully knows what in the fuck they're doing? Can't get mad if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, can you? Like, and one time at lunchtime, a bunch of kids in the special class they got busted for smoking paper. Yes, they did. They was ripping paper out of their scribblers, not putting anything in it, rolling it up, and smoking it. Let me put it this way. If you think smoking paper is a good idea, then I ain't too worried about the mean and hurtful things you might say to me. Another time, I had this bully in grade 6, Megan, and she got on me that she couldn't let it go. She did this several times, right? She said, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna grade before you will, you're gonna fail. I'm gonna grade before you will, you're gonna fail. I'm gonna grade before you will, yeah, 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 yeah. I swear I'm not making this up. Megan failed that year. Yeah, she did, man. And I had to ask myself, what is the criteria for failing the special classes in elementary, right? Is it that you can't do the work? Is it that you're too disruptive in class? Or is it that you were bullying other disabled children? You know, she was doing this so much, I could have swore, man, one of the teachers probably overheard this for a while. She's checking it out, right? She said, oh, geez, there's Megan over there bullying Josh. I don't know if she's ready for the junior high special classes just yet. And you know what? She hasn't been doing too good on colors this year either, so we're going to hold her back a while, you know. We're going to hold her back. That's it for the stand-up. That's all I could hold back. You folks, I got a nice poetry section here. Yeah, thanks, folks. I think I did pretty good for a small crowd. There's all stuff I wrote since June. Wasn't half bad, I don't think. I've, yeah, I've got quite a section of poems that's going to take a bit of time, and I should. Oh, we lost our visual, bud. Oh, I'm tied up in the binder here. Ooh. Oh, there we go. We're let loose, and I'm too. Okay, we'll switch the old. Oh, geez, I don't even know if I need. I'll put these on anyway, but. Okay, folks, we're ready for the poetry section of the evening, and this is probably the longest poetry section of the evening to date. And I had Marky print these out real big for me, so let me see if I can. A7 four, blah. Nah, I'm just clowning around, folks. It's readable. It is. Yeah, no, I can make that. I can make that out just fine too, Tonto. Your printing's tidier than the printer was. Um, so one thing I noticed when I watch this back myself, sometimes I get a little fast with my cadence. So if I am going too quickly, wait till I finish the thought, but let me know because I'd rather botch like a little bit than the whole thing by going too fast. So without further ado, the first poem is about our late Dallas, the dog who died. And of course, he wasn't my dog, but he was, Vanessa and Carly and Linda and Wes too, and Ave too a little bit probably, I think. And yeah, he just loved you. Yeah, and I could probably change this to get more characteristics of Dallas, like in particular, but I chose to focus on my relationship with Dallas. So, given that, this is the poem, Dallas the Wonder Dog. Besides my childhood cat Mary, I never had a better friend on four legs. You had quite a rough start, old boy. Abandoned by some fool who likely thought having a pet was a great idea, but actually having a pet wasn't the cakewalk they assumed. So, you were cast aside like a once prized toy who had been quickly and completely outgrown. I suppose I shouldn't be so tough on your first owner. I never knew them. And maybe they did the best they could. But whether by neglect or a best effort failed, it was our family's great pleasure and privilege that you became such a significant part of our lives. We are all very proud of the dog you became. Dallas was not my dog. My building does not allow them. And even if it did, I fear I may not be up to the task. I often dream of a pet, but the reality of my disability is such that I am unlikely able to care for one alone. Eligible bachelorettes, we might just be able to work it out if a pet is part of our deal. But I digress. This is one of the very few instances where I'm not trying to pitch some kind of woo. My cousin Vanessa rescued Dallas from an uncertain fate at the animal shelter, and he became the crown prince of the Higgins Rodriguez household, and reigned without challenge to his throne for just about 12 years. The adjustment was rather quick. He started out a bit aggressive, but quickly calmed down, which is no small feat for an already adult dog. Dallas knew how loved he was, so he could relax and be the dog he was supposed to be. People were his main interest. Only the lure of food could divert his attention from a human friend. Only food or the full capacity of human strength could keep him away from me when I arrived for a visit. He would wag his tail and whine to the full measure of doggy impatience when I would yodel my arrival up to the balcony. He just couldn't wait to greet me. And it wasn't that I was soured to his affection. It was that all his love and excitement wouldn't allow me to remove my coat and retire to a chair. He'd have me trapped on the floor like Dino to Fred Flintstone. And this could last so long, I would likely need to pee before his excitement abated. I'm sitting down. Come and get me. Excitement at fever pitch, and tail wagging as hard as it could. He would leap up like an Olympian and leap right back down, just for the thrill of doing it again. And then he would begin to unleash his torrent of kisses. Just keep that tongue below the chin, please. As much as I love you, we are not an interspecies couple. After much admonishment and redirecting of his head, I could eventually manage to keep his kisses below the neck. I never saw anything licked for so long, and with such great intensity as Dallas the tongue. I didn't mind so much if he settled on something I didn't have much use for, like a non-drinking hand. I am quite a salty character, but I guess it must literally be oozing out of my pores, ready for doggy consumption. The licking would last forever, and just when I thought he was done, he'd sprint back after a long drink of water, use his paw to frame up my non-drinking hand, and begin licking the same spot all over again. I used to tell him he was going to get carpal tunnel of the tongue. One time, I thought I was pretty clever. Maybe he'll take it a bit easier if he knows what it's like. So I began to lick him. But, always one step ahead, managed to lick my tongue. So much for being clever. I guess we're an interspecies couple after all. I've heard some dogs have human souls. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas was among them. He seemed to think he was people. Most know them, they could be a problem. But if they prove to be all right, they could become a best friend. Unless you adopt a turtle or somehow manage to bring a whale into your fold, you are likely to outlive your pets by a very wide margin. If dogs had been human, we would have seen him emerge from preschool to just about be ready for his high school prom. But because he's a dog, we met him in early adulthood and got to watch him grow old. This was not easy. He aged so quickly, and his back, his leg, and his urinary infections gave him quite a bad time. I've settled on shorter time spans being more precious because of their brevity. And what a wonderful 12 years we had. Thank God Vanessa rescued him from the shelter. I'll remember fondly that Dallas received the most Christmas presents of anyone in our family. When we lose a loved one, they can never be replaced. But I hope it brings some small solace to comfort the grief that Vanessa, Carly, Linda, and Wes, and Abe gave Dallas the very best life a dog could have. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's a good. Yeah, I think these poems are pretty strong too. I hope. Yeah. Interspecies couple after all, eh? Where the where'd my liquor? Oh, there it is. Put my liquor in the same side here. I I still got. Certainly did. I loved him too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He liked Gus too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I still got three more, and two of them were kind of long. The finish isn't too long, but better get going. And sorry to interrupt. I'm like need to pee, and I bet. No, 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 no. Please, like it helps the show to reminisce on those memories, and I'm glad that you feel that way. So I appreciate it. And I'm glad you guys came. Yeah, we're we're fighting the bugs tonight. Um, so yeah, they're only buzzing around my face, but I think I'm nice and fully dressed. So anyway, uh, they're making me paranoid, which is actually the subject of the next poem. This is a tricky one to write because um, if you're paranoid, like by its very nature, like it's hard to talk about it because like somebody would like definitely use it against you, right? They are paranoid, but but um, this um, yeah. So um, this is sort of my wrestling with that, and I mentioned a few examples to show that I think, at least for the most part, the paranoia is based more on unhappy experiences than just like a overactive imagination. But there's even a part where it gets so I'll better just get to it and see how I do. This is called paranoid. Its nervous nature makes it slippier than wet soap to get a hold of, and more elusive than the Loch Ness monster to actually fucking address. What will people think should I reveal this quality about myself? And worse still, like I said, they could very well use it against me somehow. So I had better be careful. But playing it too safe, that word is no different from its bank vault synonym. All the jewels of Fort Knox are worthless if you have no one to share them with. Whether castle or cave, imbued with treasure or trash, your space becomes a prison if you let no one in. You are safe from everything but the torment of your own mind, fearing the very worst. And just like the incarcerated, you miss the best possibilities of life as time slips through your fingers. There was a time in late high school where I was a wide open soul. I had very little confidence, but muster just enough to begin to explore my neighborhood without adult accompaniment. I was in awe. Most everyone was older and so much more hip to everything about life than I could ever dream to be. I wish I knew what good music was, or what good anything was. These supposed cultural and streetwise savants knew more than I did at the time, but not near as much more as I'd imagined. Because people talk such a good game, and I was a sincere young man, I had no notion that talk could be anything but the truth. Time has taught me that a lot of people would rather make something up than say they don't know. A man will give you the wrong directions instead of admitting he's never heard of the place, and you are more lost than before you met him. And so I flitted about from scene to scene in those days, believing all the truths and all the lies people could think to tell me. My urinary troubles would not surface for a few years, so I was free to be wherever, whenever I wanted. High school friends said I was like a chameleon. Despite being so new to my world, I was observant and clever enough to adopt the manner and speech of whoever might happen to be around. I had them to a T, but didn't have a good grip on who I was or wanted to be. My natural suggestibility was shattered by people being other than what they claimed to be. Wolf in sheepskin predators who crave popularity and influence taught me not to take folks at face value. What of the urbane elderly academic who at different points made moves on my mother and then on me? I make bad choices when we, but I cannot excuse the epistemological disdain he would hurl in your direction if you dared disagree. Great fault of male academics, especially, at least certain of them, is that because they are expert in some things, they fancy themselves omniscient. All I can say is you were never hip to the truths I've lived, and gentler with the struggling people who regarded you so highly. And what of the supposed best friend who knew well your troubles in love? The night when you're going to have some fun, he drives you home with promises to be in touch shortly, only to turn off his phone and usurp your date. We talked about you, bud, how you're like my little brother. If only, he said, well, honestly, I get competitive with women. There's a chance we could still be good friends. And then there was that woman I loved so very much and had two tumultuous runs with 5 years apart, stupidly believing I had grown enough during our time away that she would eventually see it and love me the way I ought to be loved. It's not the rejection I find so hard to swallow. Most everyone I've loved has romantically, has rejected me completely. But I bear almost none any kind of real grudge. It was the intimate time spent, hours on the phone every day, cuddling on the couch, and that breathy, near-orgasmic way of expressing every sentiment. We were in fact just friends. I have never had a friendship like that. I suppose I should have valued myself enough to part ways before she pursued another comedian right in front of me. Now, I can't trust either of them, but have learned the lesson to never wait around for someone to love me. The professional barriers have been heavy. Some comedians were better, but many not as good. And I would watch them advance without the albatross of a physical disability and the good health and savvy necessary to network. I've noticed other disabled people with more regular personality get greater acclaim because they can fit in. Nonetheless, I am still fitting. 2024 has been my most successful year. I am only in competition with myself these days and will do everything in my power to leave a legacy I can live with. I cite these examples not to piss and moan, but to illustrate that my paranoia stems more from unhappy encounters than from an overactive imagination. I suppose if that is some of the worst, then my life can't have been so terribly bad. And I know I have a great many people in my corner um, who, who have done and continue to do me more kindnesses than I probably deserve. Yet, there is still one area where my imagination may have outdone me. There are a couple people who I met years ago, deeply spiritual in their way, who I suspect of some form of psychic attack, because I may have thought ill of them and rejected their company. If my suspicions are wrong, I hope you can forgive me. I do not know why I feel this way. If my suspicions are correct, then I would ask that you please let me be. I wish you happiness and peace of mind. The endings of have created space for me to have new friends, and I hope to be friends I have already been so very lucky to find. So I must once again put myself out there in a way I haven't had time to do the last 3 years. Please forgive me that I am slow to trust, and I hope good people could take a chance on me in spite of the many faults I possess. This is not an open call to everybody. I time alone. If I don't feel a connection or the possibility of one, or if I get a bad vibe, I cannot extend beyond the simple pleasantries of friendly greetings. I will never stop being cautious, but I shall do my very best to not be incarcerated by my worst fears. Should the right fit come along for happy companionship, I will be the best friend I can be. Um, I know we're a little uncomfortable. I do have like two more. It'll probably take me like 12, 15 more minutes. Can we do it? We got it? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the penultimate one um, is about my friend from Charlie's. Her name was Nora Langford, and she was nicknamed Bird. We had a budgie bird in there who was named Charlene. I think I was nicknamed the package one time, as in this poem. So this is my little dedication to Nora Langford, and I hope I did her right by this. And this is called "Bird Got Wings." There was no friend more true. She was a woman of rare composure, an anchor in a big wide sea of ribald shenanigans. The party ended far too soon as Charlie's curse struck again. I am left with happy memories and the invaluable lesson of how to treat other people. Bird loved kids especially, something I was hip to before I had any evidence. She told me back in '03 I might not look like I like children. And I said, I bet you love them. I'm actually talking good about kids for a second. My suspicions were confirmed when Curry's 4-year-old son Dylan visited the bar that afternoon. She knew just how to be, and Dylan made a new best friend. Young Charlie and Ellen knew Bird from pretty close to birth. It's hard to express what those two meant to her, and what she meant to them. But I think of the reciprocal love I experienced with my grandparents, and I suspect it was much the same. Not old enough to be a grandparent, of course, but that same kind of special adult who could be more of a friend than a parent is free to be. Bird had a hard go. Her mother died in early childhood, and her father died when she was a very young woman. I can't imagine the pain of being orphaned so young. Though I never quite had one parent, I had another times 10, and 4 whole grandparents just as much. My grandmothers still live in their 90s. I marvel at my familial fortune and knowing I could lose them at any moment. I wonder if Bert had known her parents longer, would she have experienced more joy? Would she have dared to dream a little bigger? Would she have lived longer and with better health? There are no answers to those what ifs, but I am certain that despite her losses, she had a heart full of love and treated everyone with unmatched kindness. She worked with seniors for a spell, and I know damn well they didn't suffer that near stereotypical neglect under her watchful eye. I was her pesky little brother, pan-like and absurd, the hilarious but wounded Joe Reese, who would empty the vending machine of peanut butter cups while downing Zambuca root beers by the half dozen. I could engender uproarious laughter, eliciting slightly irritated, mostly entertained exclamations of "boy" at my foolish antics. But I had a very hard time hiding my tears. It's a wonder I didn't have a sweeter outlook, sugar to the teeth as I was in those days. But she loved me all the same. In spite of my downfalls, I might have been the realest kid on the block. But honesty comes with a price. You can't pretend to be happy. Everyone said I had a good mind, so why was I so determined to piss it away? Joe Reese had to fly the coop and try to become something he could live with. The worst part of moving on to the life you want to live is that sometimes very good people get left behind. It wasn't that we stopped being friends. It was that my devotion to the arts meant I couldn't be around too much. I'd lose my edge and my focus and risk getting stuck in that quicksand all over again. I know that at least sometimes Bird was stuck too. I hope it brought her comfort that she gave me joy and understanding through some of my most difficult times. I think she knew I did the right thing. She told me not so long ago that she was very proud of the man I had become. I told Bird once that I had found God. She didn't feel God then. If God is real and really God, then how could so many horrible things be allowed to happen? That is one of the most important questions anyone can ever ask. And all I can say is I might be plumb nuts, but I feel the Holy Spirit everywhere I look. And my answer, though it may be poor, is that if God is real and really God, it grants a will so free that the very worst of us may do their evil, even though innocent people must bear the consequences. If we were making our best choices collectively, Bird would still be alive. Neither of us would have suffered such severe urinary dysfunction because our healthcare system would actually work. Remember, it's those with power who decide to make bombs instead of leading we possibly have. Life that we call the Charlie's curse played a part in your early end. And trust me when I tell you, that curse is not so black and white. If you ever get the chance, watch Steve Buscemi's Trees Lounge, and you will see what I mean. It is a place to feel better when you have been blue. And more than that, you can find real love as you imbibe with your neighbors. It's just the human body can only take so much, and it may be all too easy to surpass those limits if you do not truly love yourself. I don't know if cigarettes were still a part of your program, but I do know that my cousin is once again fighting the quitter's battle, and he is having a harder time nicotine than he had with Percocets. I make these proclamations not as someone who has become sober, but as someone who genuinely enjoys liquor and liqueur, and as someone whose incredibly dysfunctional urinary tract flows better with booze. I must remember to love myself enough to be careful. I should have tried harder for Bird. I should have picked up the tab sometimes. And most especially, even though my own health won't piss off, I should have tried harder to see her off in person and to let her know how much I cared. Though I do take comfort that we expressed our mutual love on Facebook not so long ago. I hope you can forgive me, Bird. I'm so sorry you got so sick. Time moves before we have a chance to process it. I should still be about 25, and you and Wayne should be going to see Billy in the hospital. You thought Wayne had more time, and I thought you had. I even thought you might beat this, as I have other friends and family beating cancer to various degrees. I hope I did you right with this. The jazz of Jackie McLean, though it probably should have been Charlie Parker, who was also named Bird for those who don't know, has been seeing me through. I take great solace that you have grown your wings and flown to the world without suffering. I hope you're in full support of Wayne and your mom, dad, and everyone else you've loved who's already crossed the threshold. I hope I see you again sometime. The first ambrosia is on me. That's the, that's the Nora Langford, folks. Hope she liked that one. She's listening somewhere, probably. I hope. Just got one more, and it ain't as long as the rest of them. Thank fuck. Um, and I thought you could give it too much preamble because it spoils the first stanza. What it is, I'll let you know. It's simply called "Your Most Precious Gift." With respect to those who have lost it, and to those who never quite had it, due to life's most difficult curves. And even bearing in mind my own spatial and directional deficiencies, the greatest gift you will ever receive rests inside your very own head. I am speaking of the human mind, the means by which you will execute every decision you will ever make. If you pay attention and use it right, the choices will become easier as you go. It can become second nature to act to your greatest advantage and meet the needs of those around you. If you are only out for yourself, then you are all you'll ever have. If you sacrifice your own needs blindly for others, they are probably not people capable of being there for you. Help others as best you can, but be careful not to lose yourself in the process. Severely frayed and weakened, you are probably not much good to them anyway. Use your gift, and you'll know what to do. I've always gotten a kick out of the colloquial definition of insanity. Doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different result is not crazy. No, it's stupid. As someone who fought legitimate insanity, the hallucinations of voices may have been a bit repetitious, but they were unlike anything I'd ever known. Waiting years for a particular woman to love me was not madness. It was loneliness tinted with the glasses that emphasized their very best qualities. I think, like I said earlier, the wisdom of time has taught me to move on much more quickly. Though, I must admit, I find it exquisitely painful that almost no one amenable is willing to overlook my flaws and put on rose-colored glasses for me. It is and ever shall be the gimp's curse, I suppose, but now more than ever I have come to view that curse as more of a double-edged sword than complete damnation. Anyone can go on dates and lead a life rich in activities, but no one has my perspective and can say the things I say the way I say them. Even if it doesn't mean much when it's all said and done, it is enough to get me through life with enthusiasm. I have found what I need to do and will give it my very best effort. For all those who are able, take some time, figure out who you want to be. There will be trial and error, but you have your most precious gift to light the way. There will be suffering and great discouragement. You will make plenty of mistakes, but if you are doing the best that you can do, you will not make them endlessly. Limit activities that damage your gift. It is malleable and can expand tremendously. It can heal, but it is fragile. We all have limits, and I have to respect mine carefully. Disaster awaits should I trespass them. Rest as much as you can, so that when you act, it is your true 100%. Have the courage to follow your dreams, because what is the point of being here, if not that? If your dreams change, abandon the ones that no longer make you happy. It was to my great joy and satisfaction that I became a comedian, but it would have been to my great disappointment if I had done only that. Know that no one person can do everything, but I suppose the accomplishments of Leonardo da Vinci make a strong case that one can do everything indeed. I would caution against doing just one thing. You are likely to become restless and not reach your potential unless that one thing fills you completely. But it is not up to me. Take that glorious gift inside your head, use it well, and you will not be disappointed. 3 cheers for the human mind. We made it through. Thanks, folks, for bearing the bugs and me and all that jive. And special extra thanks to Sexium for hosting and having this all on the go. And happy birthday, Spropolis, in heaven there, up at 103. And she's not 103, Susie. What are you? I don't know if I was bitten, but they're hovering now. And the yeah, I do. They usually. I think my voice scared them away. Oh, if you get a sec, I gotta get a hand. I gotta go right to the can, man. But here, let me. I'll bunch a drink of water first, right quick. Yeah. Did our recording turn out at all, or it did? Oh, sweet.
It sounds great with the lapel and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Geez, thanks everybody. Yeah.